Hi guys, can't believe we're heading into the final week of Season 7 of Mamemeister's High Score Kerfuffle. Last week we had a game from 1998, which was Space Bomber, released by Psycheo. As I mentioned last week, this game is a reimagining of a classic formula, being a fixed screen shmup. What I didn't appreciate in the video last week was the additional dynamic when you capture an enemy, of using it as a projectile to take out the other enemies. When you do this, there are big bonuses on offer. For the number of enemies that you take out in this way, you get a bonus of that number multiplied by that number times 1,000. So take out 2 enemies and you get 2 times 2,000. Take out 10 and you get 10 times 10,000, which is the maximum bonus of 100,000. The challenge of doing this is that it's risk and reward. You get more points for taking the enemies out in this way, but not continually firing increases the chance of you getting hit. I'm not a huge fan of these more complex game mechanics. I'd rather just blast stuff. I found it a bit frustrating at times trying to do this without getting killed, and also there can be a huge amount on screen at any one time, making it difficult to know what's happening. Unsurprisingly, this game never got a home release, although it could have quite easily been done on the Saturn or the PS1, I'm sure. Not a terrible week, but not a game I'll be returning to. So let's take a look at the scores. As we're getting through the weeks, the numbers are dropping a little. We have had 17 people playing, as shown here. Scores are fairly close, and they gradually increase up to our top places. I'm down in 10th on 1.3 million, KMA and Milthy are close on 1.7 million, My Retro Tech is just ahead in 7th, and then from Mark taking 3rd place down to Bob in 6th, the scores are close, with only 250,000 separating them. Our top 2 are also close, and both separated themselves from the pack. Big Jaffa has taken 2nd with an excellent 3.15 million, but this week's winner is no huge surprise, and that's Pearl taking his 2nd win of the season with an even better 3.25 million. Well done to Pearl, who's made a return after a couple of games out. Here is the score distribution. We had 2 people that didn't really get the mechanic of capturing the enemies and then shooting them into the others for the big bonus, and you can see how separated from the pack they are. I don't really like games where the scoring is so one-dimensional like this. For everyone else, you can see there aren't any big gaps between our top places. 3rd to 7th are all in the same bin, showing it was close, and our top 2 are in the next bin, but very much together. So although Pearl has taken the win, Jeff was unfortunate to miss out. And now the difficulty curve. With our bottom 2 not getting the bonus mechanic, you can see how mastering that boosts the scores with that huge jump early on. The curve then gradually increases, but we can see a bit of a jump around the 1 million mark, and then another jump up to our top 2, showing that they did very well to push things on, and I think it's this, rather than the change in difficulty for this game in particular. And finally the progress over the week. Our early leader was Juff, who led for a couple of days, before Pearl dropped his winning score and led until the end. Until a day to go, Juff was joined by Colin and Graham at the early to mid 2 million points mark, before Juff jumped up his score again with the day to go, close to, but ultimately not beating Pearl. With only 1 game left, here is what the league table is looking like. I've removed A. Creighton and Ian after they won't be making the 5-game minimum for the season. The only mover is this week's winner Pearl. He dropped down the table after missing the last 2 games, but the win here has seen him jump up 3 places into 4th. The battle for 3rd is very much on, with even me down in 6th, in with a shot depending on what game we get. At the top, things remain the same, but it's just 20 points separating Graham and Juff now, so it's all to play for. Our final game of the season will be the last of 2 decades of playing a game from each year. That's the last 20 weeks, which is nuts. I've had 13 games sent to me, Mr. Driller and Gigawing got 2 votes each, but our most popular choice was Crazy Taxi, which was my choice too. That had 3 votes, and its slots are matched by that of this week's winner Pearl, who chose Change Airblade. So let's set things going for the last time this season, and let's see what we get. Okay, got it going. Slowing down. Okay, could it be Crazy Taxi? Oh, so it is Paul's birthday today, and it is a big 5-0 for Paul, and he's been very lucky, and he's got Guwange? I think that's how it's pronounced. It's a cave shmup. Honestly, this is the first time I've run this. I've not done this specially for Paul's birthday, but Very well done to Paul. I'll go make a video and be back in a sec. So this week's game is Guwange, a vertical scrolling shmup released by the kings of the genre, Cave, back in 1999. Cave shmups are great, but also pretty hardcore in terms of their difficulty and scoring mechanics. This one is set a little differently to the likes of Dodonpachi, where you control a character rather than a ship. You have multiple directions of fire that you can control, and the screen can scroll horizontally as well as vertically. Another strange feature of this game is the scoring, where the characters are not just numbers, so a screenshot will be required, and I'll work with Pearl to translate these into the actual numbers. Apparently, the key to scoring in this game is the continuous collection of coins that are released. I'll likely just be playing for as far as I can get, but no doubt the top guys will be manipulating the scoring to some extent. I expect to see Pearl topping the table again next week, but it'll be interesting to see who succeeds in the battle between Juff and Graham. So I think this is a good choice to end the season with, and I wouldn't be surprised if I can tempt some of my shmup fans to give this a go too. We'll be using the Japanese Master ROM with default settings as usual. Given this is the last game of the season, I don't need any suggestions from you, apart from Graham and Juff. Next week, we'll be playing a Champion's Choice game, so we'll see who comes out on top. So I hope you all enjoy giving Guwange a go, and I'll be back next week to wrap the season up. See you then.